We know that External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, while in Mauritius, reiterated India's continued support for the island nation over the issue of Chagos Islands. Jaishankar met with Mauritius Prime Minister Pravind Jugnauth and assured him of India's backing on the Chagos dispute. So what is Chagos dispute really? Welcome to Asianet Newsable's Explainer segment. This issue of Chagos Islands has been ongoing for decades. It involves the UK, Mauritius and the US. Chagos Islands is an archipelago comprising more than 60 small islands in the Indian Ocean. Mauritius has long claimed that these islands are part of its own territory, dating back to at least the 18th century. Just 3 years before Mauritius gained independence in 1968, UK in 1965 detached the Chagos Islands from then British colony Mauritius and created the British Indian Ocean Territory. What the British government really did was to place the Chagos Islands directly under UK administration. This move was motivated by the strategic interests of British and American in the Indian Ocean region. But British knew one thing very clearly, that detaching the islands without the consent of Mauritius would invite condemnation from the United Nations. So what they really did was to employ pressure tactics during negotiations with Mauritius in 1965. A document prepared for then British Prime Minister Harold Wilson suggested, quote-unquote, frighten the Mauritian Premier with hope of independence, which he might not get if he does not agree to the detachment of the Chagos archipelago. And so an agreement known as the Lancaster House Agreement was signed in 1965. This included assurances that compensation totaling up to £3 million should be paid to the Mauritius government over and above direct compensation to landowners and the cost of resettling others affected in the Chagos Islands. When Mauritius finally became independent in 1968, UK retained control over the Chagos archipelago. The UK and the US established a military base on Diego Garcia, the largest island in the Chagos Islands. This base was crucial for US military operations, including the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. The US required the base to be strategically located, secluded and uninhabited, and so there took place the forced removal of the native Chagosians from their homes. This led to human rights violations and the displacement of thousands of people. The UK claimed that the Chagosians did not belong to the Chagos Islands, despite their long history of inhabiting the region. In 2015, Mauritius initiated legal proceedings against the UK at the Permanent Court of Arbitration. The court ruled that the UK had breached its obligations under the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. The UK was also found to have created a marine protected area around the Chagos Islands to prevent the Chagosians from returning. And then in 2017, the UN General Assembly voted on a resolution supporting Mauritius' request for an advisory opinion from the International Court of Justice on the legal status of the Chagos Islands. The resolution was supported by 94 countries, with of course the UK and the US voting against it. This vote was seen as a major blow to the UK and the US as many EU countries abstained from voting. In February 2019, International Court of Justice ordered UK to return the islands to Mauritius, but UK said that the ruling was an advisory opinion and not a judgment, and claimed that the defense facilities on the British Indian Ocean Territory help to protect people here in Britain and around the world from terrorist threats, organized crimes and piracy. Even after successive court victories for Mauritius, the ground realities have not changed. The UK and the US continue to operate the military base on Diego Garcia and the Chagosians remain displaced. For all we know, the UK has promised to resolve all outstanding issues, but the strategic importance of Diego Garcia makes it unclear how these issues will be resolved. The Chagos Islands dispute is a crucial one because it touches on human rights violations, sovereignty and the role of international law, and also because it highlights the ongoing struggles for justice and the proper completion of decolonization.